Hello, welcome to Talk with Christy. We're looking at how to position ourselves as parents and help our kids bond correctly and thereby achieving the kind of happy and intimate family we all desire. Today we'll be looking at 7 secrets to help your kids bond. As a parent, we know that family integration, love and oneness is a major concern with parents. They want to see their children get along, love themselves, and work together to succeed. So now we see that many times it becomes surprising to parents how their children, as they get older, turn out sometimes to fight and be against themselves. The worst is that at other times siblings even get to become enemies to their other siblings by standing against them, fighting their progress, being at war against themselves. And if we look into the root cause of these things, we'll discover that most of these things started while they were children living with their parents. They are as a result of leftovers of tiny things that were not properly handled, that were not settled while they were growing up. Many things were left untouched, and the children grew to become adults, not resolving their conflicts, and they later turned out against themselves in their latter days. So today on Talk with Christy, we're here to help parents learn healthier ways of helping their children integrate, thereby becoming more successful stewards. So we want to see how parents can work with their children and help them become a team that will be unbeatable. And we know that this is the dream of every well-meaning parent. So what is it that parents will need do to help their children bond correctly, bond and love themselves as they ought to? What should the parent do? We want to look at 7 secrets that will help you as a parent help your own children to bond correctly. So the very first thing we encourage parents to do is that parents should position themselves correctly and be in control. As a parent, be in control of the home administration and home management. Be in control of what is happening under your roof. Be in control of how your children relate as your own children. So what do we mean by this? We say you should pay attention to what each child is doing, what each of your child is doing. Watch them as they grow. Understand their individuality and their peculiarities. Okay, their individualities and peculiarities. Understand each child. Just try as a parent to work with each child individually and understand their uniqueness. Understand their uniqueness. And as a parent, when you do this, it will help you to come clean each time you want to intervene. It is saying that children will not, if out of experience, if I tell you that I'm going to join you to say that children will not have their conflicts, it could just be a lie. But as parents, because they are trying to understand themselves and they are trying to get along, you as a parent, you have a responsibility to stay clean. Okay, because you must always come to intervene. Okay, but you must come clean. Because if you don't come clean after the first second, at a time you will weary one of the child, or some of them will just pick offense with how you act, but you may not know. So you learn how to work with each of your children because of their personality, their individualities, their uniqueness, and when you are doing that, you are going to act very neutral. The number 2 thing is you help your children to work cooperatively by creating an environment that promotes intimacy, friendliness, trust, and love. Never creates nor sponsors strife and divisiveness. Many parents sponsor division among their children through the way they talk, through the way they act. They do these things. You see two children having conflicts and you just make reference to what the other child did yesterday. You just try to make comments to indict one of your children just because the child has been acting in a way you had not liked. You are causing division by doing that. So we encourage parents to promote oneness, love, friendliness by following these 7 things. The third thing that a parent would do is, as a parent, train your mind to praise the uniqueness of every child. Train your mind to praise their uniqueness. Every child is unique. Everybody is unique. Praise their uniqueness. Make them appreciate themselves. Give them that the confidence they need. I will always tell those that come to me with their children for counseling that if you don't, as a parent, build confidence in your child, if you don't give these praises to your child, nobody will. And if your child is always hearing from you that they've lost it, and you keep singing to their siblings that they are worthless, then you're almost killing that child. Praise their uniqueness, help them appreciate each other. Like, for instance, help your children to respect each other. How do you do this? Praise their uniqueness and help them appreciate each person's differences. Each of your child has their uniqueness also. Help child Michael to understand how Brown functions, and let Michael respect Brown and let Brown respect Michael with their differences. Never place the value of one child above the other. Never make Brown feel that Michael has better values than him. It's not true. Don't do that to your children. No matter how you are tempted, never place one child above the other. Help your children to love one another. If you place one child above the other, you are going to create strife during their older days. All of those words will not get out of them. Rather, the words you send by placing the values of one above the other will breed jealousy and bring about brotherly or sisterly hatred. So be careful not to place the value of one child above the other. Number 4 thing a parent should do is teach your kids. Teach them to celebrate the victories of their siblings. Teach your children to understand that the win of one child is a win of the other. That doesn't mean they will not pursue their goals. That doesn't mean that they will live on one another. It's a positive strength. It's a family support system. It's the first social group the child belongs to. So let the victory of the child be the victory of their siblings. Let everybody win together. For instance, encourage your other children. Like, if you have multiple children, encourage them to share the little thing they can. Like, if their brother's birthday is coming up, no matter how insignificant their efforts may look, everybody should do something about the upcoming birthday. Your sister Jezreel is having a birthday. Everybody work towards her birthday. Everybody, Mary's birthday is coming up. Everybody, what are you doing? Everybody should make effort towards that birthday, no matter how insignificant, no matter how small the effort may look like. Everybody should push towards that. Help them to form and establish lasting bond and true love. Let your children learn to establish lasting bonds, oneness. Let there be true love. Let there be true love. Many families lack this value. In fact, many parents help their children to grow competing with one another. Many families, like, you see, this person's birthday was like this person did like this. There is this comparison in the mind of the parents, and they make the children to compete one with another, like as if, I must do my own must be better. We're not saying that children should not have what to compete about, but let the competition be about creativity. Let it be positive competition. Probably you just set up something, they are doing their arts, they are doing anything, music. There should be something you grade children for, but not with things that will create strife. Okay, let competition be positive. Let every form of competition be positive. Don't help children to nurture that kind of attitude where their siblings' victory becomes as if it's something they are fighting. It should not be heard. It should not be found. Such things breed strife. Every competition should be positive. Every competition among your children should be positive. Let rewards be such that brings joy and not tears. The fifth thing is there should be no preference but fairness. We shouldn't sponsor preferences. Don't prefer a child. Be fair as much as you can. Be fair. Many times we initiate things that cause trouble. So please, fairness. Many times parents also miss it here. In a bid to be fair, to their children, they bring up strife. In a bid to be fair, they bring up strife. They think, I'm going to say this. For instance, as a mother or as a father, particularly mothers this time, I'm not hitting the women, but mothers do this more often. If you must correct a child, if you correct your children, every child A is doing something wrong, call on child A and say, child A, this thing you did, I do not really agree with you. And when child B is doing the same thing, address child B. Don't be in the habit of saying, these children, I don't like what you are doing. When child A made a mistake, you now make a general statement, get everybody involved, talk to everybody because child A was wrong and they all got it. When child B did the same thing or lesser, you address just child B. But anytime child A is wrong, you are in the habit of addressing everybody, making a general statement, hurting the whole people involved. Everybody under the roof is feeling the heat of what you never liked. Try to be fair to everybody. Don't prefer any child above the other. Don't give preferences in your speech. Treat everybody equally. Everybody is your child. Don't make any child feel less love. Don't do that. Don't breed that kind of hatred. Don't let any of your children feel that you are not loving them equally. We mean this. And when it's time for discipline and rewards, do that. We encourage parents. We are going to talk on that some other times. When it's time for discipline and rewards, do that very well. You look at children that act in certain ways, you know that this child is excellent with certain things. Yes, discipline and rewards, do that very well. But we'll talk on that later. Then, because we encourage parents to incorporate that into their dealings, even though we're saying yes, there should be no preferences, but there should be discipline and rewards to help the children learn dedication in life. But we'll come to that in our subsequent videos. Now, the number 6 thing a parent must do to help the children bond is, if you have multiple children, teach them respect and kindness. But not dependence. We'll say this. Many parents allow their older children to become responsible for the emotional, mental, and physical well-being of their younger siblings. Teach your children respect and kindness, but not to carry the responsibility of their siblings. Please, parents should stop doing this, because it becomes an emotional drain on the child. You ask a child to cater, not financially this time. We even know some families go extreme. They add financial. Those ones, God will forgive them in Jesus' name. Please, as parents, please, emotional needs, mental needs, physical needs, don't transfer these key things to your children. You drain them by doing that. Don't transfer your obligation to your children. There is need for an older sibling to care and love for their siblings, especially their younger ones, but don't give them the responsibility, because it breeds certain psychological consequences that is not altogether pleasant. For instance, the younger sibling, after getting used to making demands on the older sibling, begins to think that the older sibling is owing him or her some form of responsibility. Just because the parents, taught the older person to cater, to be there emotionally, mentally, physically for this younger person, it makes them think there is any debt anywhere. Nobody's owing you anything. Your older siblings are not owing you. Your older brothers are not owing you. Rather, teach them to understand that it's for them to be there one for another, and that whatever services the older siblings are offering them, that they ought to offer one another, that is just a privilege and not their rights. Your older brother is not owing you, your older sister is not owing you. It's a privilege. It's a privilege, and parents should thereby learn to make themselves available. Don't give your children such unnecessary emotional and mental troubles. Don't do that as a parent. Be there for your own children. Be there, be responsible for the needs of your children. Be there to give your children the support as tailored to the needs of your individual child. As the child is, so the child's needs, as their faces are different, so their needs are. Be there for that particular child. Give the child what the child is demanding from you. Don't transfer such psychological demands to a young child. Okay, don't do that. Sometimes parents, even from very growing up age of few months, a child is crying and the mother is sitting in the living room and is saying, "Hey Aaron, go and carry your brother is crying." And you do that a day, two, and it has to walk around to ensure this child keeps calm, and it leads to one thing and the other, and you begin to create dependence on this child, and you make the older child feel responsible. That what happened, and the younger child begins to look up to this older person. Yes, we're encouraging older siblings to love and care, but not to be responsible for their well-being. It's not true. Parents should do their work. The seventh one is that, which happens to be the last one, is that you should never be in the habit of reporting one child to the other, no matter how ugly and frustrating the happenings may look, no matter how frustrated the child's attitude may appear to you. Don't report one of your child to the other. It's no matter how ugly the child's attitude is, don't learn not to be reporting your children. I can tell you that's one mistake parents make. That very mistake puts families apart. Okay, your children are free to discuss their issues within themselves at any time, as that will help them to bond better, but not you as a parent. Don't report them. No matter how frustrating, control yourself, develop the discipline required, as you try to keep up with the demands of parenting. Never also be in an attitude of rebuking your child, so angrily before their siblings. Don't do that. If a child is behaving in a way you don't like, address this child. The reason being that your other children witnessing how you repeatedly address their other sibling may cause certain emotions in them that are not right. Okay, so anytime you want to rebuke a child, call that child to your private. Take that child in. Take that child to your room. Okay? And another reason being that not all your children, not all children will ever do things that will require you to scold them. So if you keep scolding a particular child in the open and they don't say you scold the other person, the child will think it's just because you hate them. So learn to hold yourself, take the child inside and do all the things you want to do. There are many children that you will never have any time to scold them because of how they are. You will never see some children act less than you expected of them because they are more conscious of themselves, their personality, their environments. Why some other children will make repeated mistakes that will require you scolding them. But you as a parent, we encourage that you learn to be tolerable. So take the child into your room with such attitude. Since the child has an attitude of missing it over and over again, take the child into your own closet and talk to the child from your heart. Talk to the child from your heart. Help the child understand that their attitude is causing you pain, that you are going through pain. Talk to the child from the heart, and we promise you, as you express your pain from the heart to the child through your presentation, the child will be quick to adapt. So our end note today is that end every open scolding you do. Try not to scold your child in the open. If you must scold your child, take the child indoors, be alone with the child, and scold the child in the private. Thank you for watching Talk with Christy. Thank you. We ask that you do well to subscribe, like, share this video with your family and friends, tap the notification bell, leave us a comment. Stay blessed. We love you.